Hello everyone, in today's episode of the 1 Year Life Challenge, we're going to talk about yoga and the health benefits of yoga. Hello everyone, as mentioned in the intro, I'm excited to talk to you about yoga, which is the ancient traditional technique of movement, embracing the soul and breathing with meditation. It's a triple threat, as we say in the NBA, someone who has three skills. And as always, I'm going to begin with a quote on the subject, and that quote is, "Yoga is the perfect opportunity to be curious about how you are." Jason Cranwell. So I'll start again. Yoga is the perfect opportunity to be curious about who you are. Now, that's at the heart of both Buddhism and Hinduism, which use yoga. And it's about knowing your true self. And how do you connect with your true self? Well, you embrace the present, whether it's through breathing, whether it's through using your body, whether it's through no thought. And knowing who you really are is incredibly important. It's what yoga is all about. So, knowing who you are, what is it all about? Well, it's not knowing what you are, but who you are. What you are is obvious. What you are is your skin, your cells, your job, your car, your status, your income. That's what you are, and it doesn't matter, because what's more important is who. Because who you are sits behind those superficial facades and drives everything about you. That's what yoga is about. It's about knowing who, not what you are, and using techniques to take us there. What yoga understands intrinsically is that the world of distractions, or maya, or illusion as is used in Sanskrit, is distracting. And if you spend too long in maya, or the world of illusion, you totally forget the power you have and how amazing you are. And you get caught up in petty squabbles, issues, chasing money, and things of that nature, which don't serve the who you are, only serves the what you are, and never give long-term fulfillment. So yoga is a physical, spiritual and mental discipline that originated in India. Now, yoga has been a little bit hijacked recently, and most people would assume yoga is the wearing of yoga pants, but I can tell you it's much deeper than that. And yoga is also not just stretching. So you'll see people stretching performing yoga. That's 1/3 of yoga. That's a third of the aspects. But quite recently, it seemed to be given 100% of the attention. It's good. Exercise is great, and getting in tune with your body, but the breathing and the understanding of who you are is what yoga is all about. So the Yoga Sutra, which is the original core text, which I would suggest you find a good translation of it. And when I say a good translation, perhaps if you're a Westerner, someone who's written about the book. Reading the book itself is next level stuff. Like you need to be ready for this stuff, because it's so deep, so meaningful, so powerful that it can blow your world. So sometimes you need a little filter to come through, because it is very, very deep. And it's also confusing. A lot of the words aren't easily translatable into the English language, because they're about experience, they're not about verbality. So the Yoga Sutra, do some research on it. I'll find a link to a good book, and I'll give some information on that. But let's go into the three aspects of yoga. So you have one, the breathing, the breath. Now, as Alan Watts used to say, are you breathing, or is the breath breathing you? And that's at the core of breathing, is that it's an automatic function. If you forget about breathing, thank the Lord that you'll breathe anyway. If you think about breathing, thank the Lord, because you'll breathe anyway. So what you're really doing when you're getting in tune with the breath, you're getting in tune with the unconscious knowing of the universe that keeps you alive. You go to that place that's automatic. You go to that place that exists without worry, without thought, and you become that. It's a great, and the techniques from yoga are some of the best, improved over the last 2,500 years. Focus, I think it's drishti. Is drishti? For anyone who's into yoga can comment in this section. But drishti, which is focus, which is mindfulness in Buddhism, is a key part of yoga as well. So practicing the attention on a point. When I practice yoga and I'm doing a weirdo thing that I can barely do, when someone says drishti to me and I find a point of focus, I'm standing on one leg with my head above my head, my hand above my head, going, how am I doing this? And then I fall over because I think about how I'm doing it. And if you've seen my video on the caterpillar and the frog, you'll know why. So drishti, which is mindfulness, allows you to do things you couldn't normally do by concentrating the mind. And finally, obviously, movement. So the movement of the body, the stretching, the release of energy. I've been doing yoga now for about 6 months, and I'm evangelical about it. I really believe that yoga should be implemented at every school in order to give people the opportunity for a small break away from their iPhones, iPads, iLives, in order to do yoga and get in touch with the I, the real I, not the Steve Jobs I, but the I that sits behind the awareness of self. And for me, it's just been incredible. It's really added massive value to my life. The key benefits of yoga, let's go through the benefits one by one. The number one benefit of yoga, from my perspective, is you're around like-minded people. It's rare to go to a yoga class or a yoga event and find aggressive, angry people. When you go to yoga festivals or yoga clubs or yoga studios, the people around you are all on the same path. They're all trying to get in touch with the true self. And they will do similar things to you. They're more likely to eat healthy, they're more likely to think healthy, they're more likely developing themselves and their self-love, which makes them easy to love and to give love. So being around those people is great, especially yogis. If you get there's a big difference between a yogi and a yoga instructor. Quite often yoga instructors are hotties, guys or girls who are incredibly good at yoga, and they can teach you fantastic yoga stretches and postures. But a yogi, who is a person who is yoga, who knows their true self and practices this, is someone who can help you with life. You can talk to them and they'll know you. I've met some yogis before and they just blow my little mind. When I ask them a question, they'll ask me who's asking the question, and then I'll just be aware that they just answered every question I had. Number two, improve your strengths, the real strength. So, quite often you get the big biceps and the shoulders from doing weights, but real strength is in those small muscles that really control the way your body moves and how you pull yourself out of a chair. The strength that comes from yoga is a real day-to-day strength that you can use. Number three, it's low impact. And for someone who's done heavy weightlifting for a little while now, the ability to move to something that's low impact just allows you to really do it. When you're sore, you've exercised and you're sore, you don't want to exercise again. But with yoga, it's such low impact when done properly that you just want to do more and more of it. Number four, it increases your immunity. So the lymph nodes, which are the areas of your bodies that quite often will collect toxins, need to be flushed, and they flush through breath and movement. They're a pneumatic system. They don't have a pump. So their pump is your movement. So as you move and breathe, take deep breaths. You can move the things through your lymph system and clear out toxins, which help with immunity. And quite often we just don't have enough time to breathe. So the fact that you breathe and get exercise through yoga is a double threat. The core. Yoga works on your core. We ignore the core. The core, the seat, the belly, that chakra sitting right there is what controls all of your movement. If you have a weak core, every twist, lift, bend is compromised. Yoga is so good for the core, and I recommend it to anyone, whether you're looking to be a bodybuilder or whether you're just looking to sit at your desk a little bit more upright. And finally, gives you time out. Once again, I talked about the iPod, iPhone, iGeneration. Just stepping out of that for a second and just realizing you're more than that. You're not that. You're the awareness of that. It's what yoga is all about. You get to be with your body. You have to concentrate on this amazing thing that carries your consciousness around this body, this beautiful collection of trillions of cells working together independently to manifest a being of consciousness. Think about that. Trillions of cells working independently to create a single consciousness to observe events. Sounds like the planet to me. On our planet we have trillions of animals and trillions of plants working together to collectively create reality. That's what your cells are doing in your body. Sometimes you just need to tune in. Yoga is incredible. I'm sure many of you already started it, whether you're a guy or a girl. Quite often girls are associated with yoga. If you go to India, you'll realize very quickly that it was actually associated with men in India. So you can see it's a real balance, whether it's men or women. It's something that everyone can do. I hope you take it up. I hope you look into it at the very least. At worst, you'll be around great people who do yoga. At best, it will transform your life. I can't wait to see you tomorrow, but until then, goodbye.